Cindy Chandler, and I've been a member of PFF for 9 years. I am an advocate. Right now I'm on the Government Affairs Task Force Committee through PFF, and we're trying to build a group of grassroots advocates throughout the country. The Pulmonary Fibrosis Foundation is where you want to start to get your information. And throughout your process of advocacy, they will be there to support you. I became interested in learning about pulmonary fibrosis when my husband was diagnosed. He declined much more rapidly than the doctors expected. He was diagnosed in January, passed away in May. My mother-in-law, when she was about 81 or 82, they diagnosed her with pulmonary fibrosis, and we went through that again. It just solidified for me the need to get more involved. It was a calling, like, okay, somebody's like hitting you in the head saying, get moving. How many more times can I tell you that you need to do something?
You can't imagine the number of people who come into our office with issues ranging from nuclear weapons to Social Security to the internet, etc. But when a family member comes in, a patient comes in and says, Congressman or Congresswoman, I have a disease that's possibly going to claim my life and I need your help. Suddenly it gets real and it gets personal. And finding your voice and making connections with members of Congress. You've elected them, it's their job to listen to you. And you can do this. I always tell people this should not be scary. These are people just like you, they care about you, they care about your family, they need to hear your story.
It sounds overwhelming to do this, but I was lucky enough to have mentors who broke it down for me.
I met you in Washington, and we were supposed to do Hill visits, and you were one of the rookies.
Yep, 2007. I was very petrified of what are we going to do? What are these people going to say? And they said, just relax and tell your story, make your story brief. And it was easier than I thought.
I think my coaching to you is get over it. They're just people like the rest of us.
We would hope that this is the first step. Our hope is that by increasing the awareness of our colleagues here in Congress and of the American public, that we can not only increase awareness of the disease, but begin to work towards actual dedicated funding for this.
Pulmonary fibrosis is something I know all too well and something I've really dedicated much of my life to trying to fight. My father suffered from it and actually died from it, quite literally in my arms. The idea was, how can I get my colleagues in Congress to know about this, and how can we increase federal funding? Relative to other diseases, the support that had been going to pulmonary fibrosis research was very, very low. So I set to work to try to change this.
Well, I want to urge my colleagues to support this resolution, and I would urge them to look forward to ways that we can actually do more.
The main purpose of legislative advocacy is to let your legislators know what is needed in the PF community. You don't have to go to Washington. You can be very effective by repeatedly going to your legislators in district, near your home, in your area. I've learned a lot through my mentor. Make it brief, make it one page, make it easy to read, not a lot of information. You want people to understand that we're talking about a person. We're talking about your loved one. It's relationships, 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 and persistence, 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 because you can't be on someone's radar if they don't hear you.
Since we began this effort, the cumulative difference between what the baseline NIH funding had been for pulmonary fibrosis and where it's at now, that difference cumulatively exceeds $200 million. The annual number of PF-related grants has doubled in that 10-year span, and all of that happened directly because of advocacy.
When I think about my years of doing this advocacy, the thing that made the biggest impact on me was when I saw the amount of money that has gone into the NIH specifically for research for pulmonary fibrosis. And then I realized, wow, this is where I want to put my energy.
The more Cindy Chandlers we have, the more of you that we have, the more effective we'll be. This is something you can do, this is something that will make a difference, and this is something that if you do and others do, we will eventually beat this disease.
It's keeping the memory alive. I do this because it's life or death. I have 2 boys and they are my life, and I don't want anything to happen to them.